Hello friends, family, and internet strangers, Stephanie here, and today I've got a new What's for Dinner video for you. First up, if you were to look up budget friendly in the dictionary, I'm pretty sure creamed tuna would be the definition of it. This is something that we had a lot when I was growing up. It is one of my mom's favorites, and for years and years I did not like it. Once I was finally old enough to be able to go and get my own food if I didn't like what my parents were having, I would skip out on creamed tuna night. So I was never a fan of this, but now that I am not around it constantly, occasionally I will crave it and have that taste of my childhood. So I figured I would share it with y'all. So I'm starting out by making kind of a bechamel type sauce. I made a roux with some flour and butter, and now I'm adding the milk to that. And then to this bechamel sauce, I will then add salt, pepper, and a little bit of cayenne, a little bit of garlic powder, and a little bit of onion powder, and a little bit of paprika, or really a lot of paprika. We love paprika in my family, so there's a big dumping in of some paprika. And then once this all comes together, I'm going to start adding my tuna. I will have the measurements for this, or at least for the butter, milk, all of that stuff. I'll have that measurements for you in the description box below. I will copy and paste what it was that my mom sent me when I said, can you send me the cream tuna recipe? Which was probably one of the most shocking things I could say to her. So for this cream tuna, I added my 3 cans of tuna, and then the last component of this, or at least of this part of it, would be some frozen peas. So I did cook them before I put them in here, and that's it for this. We serve this over toast, so you just make up a bunch of toast, serve this over the top of it, so you've got this nice mushy mixture over the toast. You could also add noodles to this, and it would then become more of a tuna noodle casserole, but for the most part in my family, this is exactly how we ate it, over toast. And that was our meal. This was popular during Lent when we couldn't have meat on Fridays, or just in general anytime Mom wanted creamed tuna. Next up, I've got French onion soup. I have shown this on my channel before. I make French onion soup a lot, so it will pop up in my What's for Dinners fairly frequently, but this is also a really great budget-friendly meal because when I make this, I generally don't have to do any shopping. I always have onions in my apartment. The seasonings are always there. I always have some sort of base. This is the main difference from when I had made it previous times. I had gotten this sauteed onion better than bouillon base, so I wanted to try that, but I also still wanted that beefiness to it. So I did half beef base and half of the sauteed onion base, and this was really delicious. This was one of my favorite times that I have made my French onion soup. So I always just saute my onions. I use salt, pepper, thyme, a little bit of garlic or garlic powder, and then the base, and then I make sure that all comes together really well. And then if you're new here, I do cook for just myself, so when I make something that's not going to reheat well in the form of it, I will kind of do this where I'll prep part of it to be eaten that night, and the rest I will do it if I can when I make the leftovers. So when I make French onion soup, I only put the toppings on half, and then when I have the leftovers, I do the other half. So French onion soup, always a favorite for me, and always something I can whip up really quickly. Next up, chicken parm. Now this is from a video that I did prior to Vlogmas, but now that we are in Vlogmas, I'm just gonna kind of speed through this without showing you the whole thing because it is something that I had for dinner. So chicken parm is what my family usually has for Christmas, so I do have an entire video. I will link it down below. The other reason I am showing this though is because the leftover spaghetti that I had with this is what is going to be in the next thing that you see that you haven't seen before on my channel. So I am still at a point where these What's for Dinner videos, all of these meals are things that I have cooked a while ago. And then I kind of stock them up, and then eventually when I edit them together, they become these What's for Dinner videos. But some of the stuff is stuff I have made a really long time ago and then never got around to showing. It didn't fit into what I was doing or something along those lines. But when Vlogmas is over, I will officially be out of those videos. So after the new year starts, all of my What's for Dinners will be in real time with what is happening in my life at that particular moment. I will be filming them weekly instead of just gathering a bunch of videos and then putting them together eventually. So what I'm doing here with my leftover spaghetti, I had some Italian sausage. I also had peppers and onions that I really wanted to use for 2 recipes. So I did post half of this in a soup video. So in that video, I don't think I showed this process. I think I just mentioned that I had already made the sausage, peppers, and onions, and I can link that soup below in the description box as well if you'd like to see it. But essentially, I've got some Italian sausage, some peppers and onions, and then I added some salt, pepper, and garlic powder to this mixture. And I do like my onions and peppers to be nice and soft. If you prefer a crunchier pepper or a crunchier onion, you can wait until later into the cooking process to do this if you're interested in trying this out. But for this is the part where I'm going to take half of this out. So half of this coming out to be used the following day in my soup recipe, the other half going on to become this creamy spaghetti. So once I've got that out, I am going to drain all of the excess liquid because I do like my stuff soft. I had put a little bit of water in there and really steamed it up. And then I am going to get all of the excess water and grease out of there because I did not need any excess liquid of that kind in this recipe. So once I've got all of that done, I'm going to add a little bit of spaghetti sauce. So I had spaghetti sauce on hand, a little bit extra, and I also had some garlic I decided to add into here as well. So I am all about using up what I have. That is one of the best ways for me to stay on budget and not throw food away, because I will throw leftovers away. It happens all the time. I just am not a big fan of leftovers, and then I put them off and then they go bad. So if I can use my same ingredients or use my leftovers in a different way, I'm gonna do it. So I had my spaghetti sauce in there, and then here's my leftover spaghetti that was left over from the chicken parm. So that going in there, and then at the last minute, I kind of decided I also really wanted this to be creamier. So I added cream cheese to it and a little bit of extra sauce. If I had pre-decided I was going to do that, I probably would have done it before I put the spaghetti in. But I make do with what's going on. I adapt and change all the time, and I hope y'all are doing that in your kitchens as well. It's what keeps it interesting, right? So once my stuff has all melted, I add that in. I add a little bit more sauce because I like saucy pasta, and it didn't seem saucy enough for me. So once everything is melted in, I also decided to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese that I had left over. So I just dumped in the rest of what was left in this bag, got another thing cleared out of my refrigerator, and this was such a delicious meal. I served it up with just sliced bread that I put garlic, butter, and some mozzarella cheese on to make like a garlic bread, and put it in the air fryer, and that was a delicious meal. Thanks so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and if you did, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I've got more Vlogmas coming up tomorrow, but if you're here for these What's for Dinner videos, I've got them every Wednesday for you. Thanks so much for watching.